My duties are to my family. But I am loyal only to myself. Hey everybody, it's Red Panda Gamer here for the start of a brand new Let's Play that I am very, very excited to bring to you. This game is from Cellar Door Games. It's a game that's been generating quite a bit of buzz. I don't know why my game paused. A game that has been generating quite a bit of buzz, and for good reasons. Myself, along with many other YouTubers, have spent a lot of time actually covering this game. We were all given, a lot of us anyway, were given demo builds of this game about 2 months ago, and while a lot of us posted videos on it and were talking about how psyched we were for it, I'm not really entirely sure how many people are going to be doing Let's Plays of this game. Now, I'm sure a lot of people will be, because it is really fantastic. In my opinion, it's one of the best games that we're probably going to see this year, especially on the indie side. And that's a pretty big claim of mine, but I have put about 5 hours into this game between the demo that was given and this new fully released game. Now, the game came out today, or not today. Technically, the game came out on the 3rd, what day is that going to be? 2 days? The 27th of June. Sorry, I'm recording this a bit early before it actually comes out. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to share it all with you. But the game is available now for $15, and let's murder the king. Oh, I can't do that. Alright. The game is Rogue Legacy. It's available on Steam now for $15. It's really, really, really good. I highly recommend it to everybody. And we went ahead and killed the king, and we're going to go ahead and play now as, I believe this is Sir Lee? And basically the way the game starts is we always play as this other soldier, or not soldier really, but this knight. Whenever you start a new game, you'll start out in the castle just like you will all these other times you play the game. We have a door here we can't access, a teleporter pad we can't really do much with, and we have a map here that really doesn't tell us much information at all, because this is a randomizing Metroidvania game. Now I know not many people like the phrase Metroidvania, or roguelike for that matter, but really, that's what this game is. It's a randomizing roguelike, or a randomizing Metroidvania game with really gorgeous graphics, really fantastic music, and honestly, I'm really excited to be sharing this game with you guys. Oh god. We're getting kind of a really difficult first castle to deal with here. As long as we can get about 150 gold, I will be happy. And there we go, 150 gold. There will be times where you can actually get quite a bit of gold if you get lucky and play well enough. Like I said, I have put about 5 hours into the game of Rogue Legacy, so I'm pretty good at it. Not the best, and honestly, it can be very difficult to do well at all just because the game is very difficult. And you can see we're actually level 0 right now. I will be collecting gold, mana potions, and health in the form of little chicken drums. And actually, this is going to be really cool that I get to show this right now. Wasn't expecting to at all. But throughout the castle portion of the game, we'll find these paintings from the developers. So, Villainous, development time 3 months, release date April 15, 2012, or 2011. I can't read. Villainous? That's Villainous, isn't it? Villainous was one of the more risky endeavors we undertook. The initial concept was a reverse tower defense, which sounded like it could be a good idea. We had a hard time converting the could to would. Most people would have played the game think the process was an obvious one, but lots of stress and arguments were involved in this project. The entire idea was scrapped 3 or 4 times before we settled on its final version. It is ironic that to date, Villainous is far and away one of our most successful titles. It was also the most painful. So, the developers actually put in the castle, and this is kind of randomizing as well. As far as I've been able to tell, you won't be able to find all of those paintings in one go of the game. The developers did something kind of interesting, and I'm sure this will be kind of hit or miss for some people, but they actually put like development logs of previous games that Cellar Door Games has made as paintings in the game. And I don't want to spoil this, but actually, you know, you can get attacked by paintings, which I believe has already happened. Maybe, okay, my cat is sitting on my headphone cable, making it impossible for me to move. The developers, I feel like this is an interesting thing they did, making the game very, oh fuck, I died. Making the game very personalized, I think, for them. However, it also kind of takes you out of the game a little bit. But anyways, we died, and dying in this game is no big deal. In fact, it's pretty much expected. But every time we die, we get to choose a new heir. Here we see we have 3 choices, and we'll always have 3 choices. We have Sir McGladdery, Sir Scorpio, and Sir Jacoby. Jacoby is a barbarian. He's a walking tank, and he has more health and more defense. He's gigantic. He has gigantism. So everyone's going to have traits in addition to their class and spell. He's bald, so he's the bald and the beautiful, much like Northern Lion. We have Sir Scorpio, who's a knave. He's a risky hero, low-class stats, but can land devastating critical strikes. He has eyed memory. I don't know what that is, but he remembers things with extreme clarity. And he has his spell is the Quantum Translocator, which lets him drop and teleport to his shadow. And then we have another knave. He's gay. He has electrophobia, so chickens freak him out. I don't really know how that affects him. But we're going to go ahead and play as the Barbarian, because I actually think gigantic characters are really interesting. Now, where more of this game is involved, this is like the level up system, which some people may not like, but I personally love it. Our level up system is in the form of building a castle. So we unlock the smithy. The blacksmith can build the finest equipment in the world, turning you into a virtually virtuous violent villain vaporizer. Gathering blueprints will give him an even wider array of assorted arraignments for your armory. So now we've unlocked the smithy, so when we go back to that forest area at the beginning of the game, we'll see that we have a couple different options of what we can do with him. We won't worry about that right now, though. We can mana upgrade, health upgrade, which will do both. And when we get the health upgrade, we then unlock a upgrade for our knight, which we'll totally buy. And basically now, promotes our knights to paladins, and through rigorous training, paladins have learned how to block blows from any direction. You might have noticed that knights had shields, but we couldn't use them prior to getting this upgrade. Let's see, what else do we want to do here? We can also do an equipment upgrade, or we can do a mana upgrade. Oh, we can't actually do a mana upgrade. So let's go ahead and do an equipment upgrade. It'll let us carry more stuff, which will be more relevant once we buy some from the smithy. And now we've unlocked the ability to get the Architect and the Enchantress. We won't worry about that quite now, but we do now have this man out here. Hello, welcome, hero. Maybe you can help me. I used to be the greatest blacksmith in all the lands, but one day the monsters of this castle attacked my smithy and stole all my blueprints. Without those blueprints, I can only make cutlery and stuff. Please bring back any blueprints you find, and I can build the most amazing equipment ever. Ever. At a price, of course. So yeah, right now all we can buy is mostly basic armor. We can buy squire limbs, we can't buy a chest plate, we can buy a squire helm, and a squire sword. However, these things are expensive and we cannot afford them quite yet. I usually recommend unlocking stuff outside before you really start buying weapons, but it's really up to you and your playstyle. But here we have Charon. One must pay the toll. So we have to give Charon all the money we made to get back into the castle, which this means that the only money you can spend is the money you make in your first visit to the castle, or in your visit to the castle prior. And once you spend all that money, you go to the next go to the castle again, you give away all your cash. But since we already spent all of our cash, we really have nothing to give him. But that would be the time. And since we're bald and the beautiful, that says balding. I don't really know why. I guess it's just kind of a joke. There is a fair amount of humor in Rogue Legacy, of which I actually really appreciate. I really like playing as gigantic enemies, although they trade their higher attack in for being much easier to hit. And actually, this right here, as long as we're careful, we shouldn't take too much damage. Now, different enemies kind of have different, not personalities per se, but different ability to attack. So those eyeballs we just saw earlier, why can't... Oh, how did we get to that? Are there illusionary walls? I bet you if we played a smaller character, we could jump through that discolored spot right there. But we can't because we're gigantic, so we won't. We have a painting here, Doom Vases. They will turn into paintings. Normally you can tell the Doom Vases from other paintings based on their location. They're a little bit easier to find. We can drop down here, but we want to time it right. I totally fucked that up. There we go. This kind of room is a little more difficult for a gigantic character just because of the spike walls. Whoa, how'd that hit me? That was a little silly. Oh, I see. It did kind of go above that. So some enemies can go through walls, like the eyeballs, lasers can go through walls. The Doom Bosses can fly through walls. The bones can go through walls. These guys are very much like the Castlevania skeletons, which is kind of cool, since this is a Metroidvania of sorts. The game is also very comparable to Spelunky. That is our ability, our magic ability, by the way. It's probably one of the more... well, I can't believe that didn't hit me. It's probably not one of the better magic abilities, since all it does is make a wall of a sword. It doesn't even defend you, per se, but if enemies walk into it, they do take damage. We gotta time this right here. Oh, God. Oh! That kind of thing is way harder to do as a character. We are very well rewarded for it And kind of what you're going to be doing early in this game, you're not going to be expecting to succeed this early on. What you're more going to be trying to do is go to the castle several times, get a lot of gold. That way you can buy more upgrades, that way you can survive better. This adds a lot of grinding to the game. And some people may not be into the grind that is Rogue Legacy, but I personally kind of like it. Oh, fuck, that was bad. This game really reminds me of... I got slayed by Grey Knight. So then at the end of the round, we get to see all the different enemies we killed. We are given some advice. Maya's always at the top of the castle. That doesn't make sense right now, but it will sooner or later. So we can actually go back and look at our lineage, really, our ancestry. And we can go ahead and pick our next characters. I believe this also lets us know how well they did or how long they survived. I could be wrong with that. But I know that number below is for something. I think it's for how long you last, though. So we have Lady Winry. She's a knave. She has OCD. So actually, OCD is a very good trait to have because you restore MP for breaking stuff. And the joke in that is that you're cleaning up, I guess. Then you're also gigantic, which I actually really like a lot. And we have Chakram, which is a throwing magic spell. We have the Blade Wall, and the Barbarian has 0 traits, which is pretty rare. We have Lady Jenny. She has electrophobia and EDS. She's very flexible. I don't know what that means, but I'm actually going to go ahead and roll with Lady Winry. I like the big women. And we'll go ahead and buy the Architect and the Enchantress. So the Architect can lock a castle down and prevent it from changing. Like a layout of the castle, lock it down. So it's always randomizing unless you use that. We also have attack upgrades, which I will buy one, and we'll go ahead and unlock the Enchantress as well. So we'll see what she does right here. The Enchantress can empower your body with magical runes, making you better, stronger, faster, jumpier. Find runes to increase her repertoire of body-modifying talents. Her crystal ball is just for show. And then I think we have enough to buy a sword. If you want to check out what these people have for sale and to see if you can afford it, don't worry, you can always go back to the manor, which is something I didn't realize for a while when I first played the game. Can we buy a sword? No, not even close. We're close to being able to buy a helmet, which does give us some more health and mana. And we cannot buy the Squire limbs. We'll go ahead and talk to the Enchantress. Hello, hero. Could I borrow your ear for a moment? I'm in need of your help. I used to be a very powerful enchantress, but one day the monsters of this castle invaded my dreams and stole my knowledge. They encased that knowledge in runes, and without those runes I suck at my job. Please, hero, if you find any runes, bring them back to me, and then I'll sell it back to you for a profit. At a profit. So the best rune in the early game is the Sprint rune. Gain the power to dash short distances, multiple rune stack, allowing for multiple dashes. Fault rune, double jumps, and then we can't really unlock any others. Runes are going to be very, very important to us. Some are really, really great. Some are just kind of okay. Maybe a little more gimmicky than useful. But still add some flavor to the game. Now here is the Architect, which we'll talk to as well. Greetings, well, girl, really. We're a lady. That's kind of a miss... whatever. Want to know a cool fact? I'm crazy! This lever here, with a simple pole, I can prevent a castle from changing. This way you can go through exactly what your ancestors went through. Impressed? You should be. How did I build this fantastic contraption? With science, of course! And magic. Mostly magic. But my skills aren't free. If lock this castle, I will take 70% of all the gold you earn. So yeah, we earn less money if we do this, but if we're trying to complete the game, and in completing the game, it's going to fight bosses and different areas of the world, this is actually very beneficial. Plus, there's teleportation stones on the ground that can only really be utilized if you've unlocked them, really. So by locking down the castle, you can actually fast travel different parts of the area, or to the game. Since we don't have much, I guess we can't actually buy anything, can we? Damn. That's unfortunate. Well, alright, so we're going to have to give up this 140 gold, which really isn't that big of a deal. I really can't help but compare this game to two games. Two of, like, my favorite games, which I guess is interesting. But two of my favorite games that I can compare this to are Spelunky and Dark Souls. Dark Souls in the fact that if you die, or in this case, restart a castle... Oh, I can't get to the gold. If you restart a castle, you lose... Ah, shit. You lose any gold you may have earned. You kind of have to spend it or lose it. So that kind of is comparable to souls. Now, losing souls, or gold in this case, it's not that big of a deal because it's relatively easy to get a lot of gold in souls. and you slowly grind that to be able to unlock items or level up. There is a leveling up system in this game, and every time you unlock something new in the castle, you level up. So we've unlocked about 8 different things in the at the castle, and so now we are level 8. And I believe that as we level up, things get a little more difficult. I could be wrong in that fact, but obviously as you progress through this castle, things become more difficult. So we're a knave, or a barbarian. Which was it? I think it was a gigantic knave. So you see we're doing critical attacks. We're also getting 1 MP for almost everything we destroy. Oh my god! Alright. We should go up there and use our chakra magic shit. When you leave a room and come back, you don't, damn it, that was fucking terrible. If you fail a fairy chest room... Okay, fairy chest rooms we'll get into in a little bit. Alright, so that sucked, but that's okay. You're expected to die quite a bit in this game. So we have a barbarian, a paladin that has color blindness and Tourette's, and tunnel vision and ambulivus. You've got 2 left hands. You can't cast spells properly. So I think that's you shoot spells backwards. So when we have something like Conflux, which bounces an orb, they'll shoot behind us instead of in front of us. I'm actually going to opt to play as Lady Faye because I think it adds something very interesting. You'll see that in a minute. Because sometimes these elements can be very literal, and this is definitely one of them. I'm going to go ahead and increase our magic damage, because I have a problem where I don't utilize magic. So you can see we're colorblind, literally colorblind. Everything's black and white now, which doesn't really add anything other than unique design to the game, in my opinion. Not design necessarily, but, you know, we're not affected one way or another by this, other than the fact that it actually could be a little more difficult to play. Oh, fuck. I cannot believe I jumped into that painting. It was very obvious that that was a fake painting. So yeah, it doesn't really add anything other than, like, stylized elements to the game. I guess you could say it adds, like, a noir feel, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, maybe for some people, you'll struggle with the colorblind character because because things blend more. It can be a little harder to separate. Oh, fuck. We're on top of the bookcase. I didn't realize that. Might make things a little more difficult to see, literally, just because things might blend into the background more. And as we get into further enemies, it can actually make it much more difficult. Plus, I just think it adds to the overall concept of being able to play these characters that all have different, unique genetic traits. And I think the randomizing genetic traits is a far more interesting element to the game than I feel like maybe some people give it credit for. Especially when you start to see some of these traits. Right now, though, our character has very much surface things. She has Tourette's, so every time we get hit, she kind of has a little expletive remark, speech bubble pop up. This painting is definitely alive. The paintings only attack you... Whoa, this one... Whoa, that was a more powerful one. A Doomscape. Okay, so there are different living paintings. I've never seen a Doomscape, though. So that did not go very well. I guess the only real gameplay-involved element of getting a Tourette character is that they don't give you advice at the end of the level. So we got Sir Charles, Lady Antoinette, and Lady Jenny. Mage, permaroided, attacks knock enemies further. Chickens freak you out, and nothing. So let's go ahead and play as a mage, because I don't think we've played as a mage yet, have we? I think we have, actually. We only have 130, which unfortunately I don't believe is enough to unlock anything. As we unlock more and more, obviously it becomes more and more expensive, and you eventually just have to be good at the game. Which, you know, for some people may be a tall order. But I've played a lot of this game, so I'm somewhat decent at it, but there will be times where you're playing the game and you literally get a castle build that is just impossible to get through because either you don't have the appropriate runes, you're just not powerful enough, or you're just not good enough yet and you need more attack or defense or magic to just play better. So you'll see with some of these enemies we now have the ability to knock them back, which can be very helpful but can also be a little difficult because sometimes it's just easier to run up and hit an enemy a few times. So you gotta be a little more patient, but for some enemies it makes it a little bit easier. Like these zombies. I guess it just kind of depends on the kind of player you are. It makes it easier and more difficult. Do we also have OC? Oh no, we have Mage. So I believe that Mage, in addition, like if you have Mage build with OCD, you get even more MP. Oops, that was really dumb. So I went ahead and used my magic there because I don't use it nearly enough. We also have a treasure chest here, which if you find one treasure chest, it usually makes these earlier runs totally worth it. Because you get anywhere from 120 to 350 gold in these earlier areas. And actually, we found something new here. We found a journal entry. Oh, this is just the first one, though. Oh, damn, is it because I didn't read the first... Didn't I read the first one? I'll go ahead and read it anyway. Treason. An assassin has wounded my father, the king. To bring order back to the kingdom, he has sent my siblings and I on a quest to save him. Together we will venture into the cursed woods and enter Castle Hampson. This cursed castle has stood on the edge of the woods since time immemorial. But rumors say that within it dwells an item which will cure any ailment. Tonight I will get a head start over my brothers and sisters and set forth on my quest while they lay asleep. To fail this quest would be an embarrassment to my name. Yeah, it would be, but don't worry. Actually, I think I screwed that up a bit because that is the first journal entry, which you can actually read at literally the beginning of the game in that big room. But since I didn't, I think it still was there, like, because you're supposed to find journal entries, just like you find runes or blueprints for weapons. And I think I might have screwed that up by not reading that one prior. So we have another zombie over here. Knockback's cool, but I don't really think it's that valuable. But we did find a lot of gold so far, which is really good. We are really close to dying. We have 6 out of 55 HP. So survival is looking a little grim here for us. But that's okay. Like I said, in these earlier areas, you're not going to live for as long. And it does add kind of a bit of a grind to the game. But I kind of appreciate it as an RPG player. I mean, that's kind of how Spelunky was. Well, not really. But yeah, I want to compare this game, that's more how Dark Souls was, I should say. You would grind over and over again until you did get to a soul level or equipment that you felt more comfortable with. So we'll have some of these puzzles, and just like Spelunky and Binding of Isaac, or really any kind of level randomization, you will have a lot of level designs that are reoccurring, like this one. So even though it's a randomized game, you will see a lot of similar type of puzzles, and that's okay. Because there has to be, at some point, some consistency of some sort. And normally it'll be similar puzzles with just a small change made to it. But you only really start to notice these repeating areas if you play the game a lot. Which I have. Oh my god. Whoa! I forgot I was that low on HP. Damn. That was actually pretty good, though. That was not bad at all. So I'll do one more run. These videos are going to be a little bit shorter. Because it does take a while till you get to a point where you can be really, really good. Tourette's, IBS, even the most valiant heroes can suffer from irritable bowels. That is a silly one, which I might actually have to show. Walking tank, this here. Oh, by the way, mages gain mana when they kill. Not... Oh, my lights just flickered. Hope the power's not about to go out. I wonder if it's storming outside. I have no idea. Anyway, this person has IBS. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to show that because it's a little silly. Walking tank, baldness, colorblind. Actually, no, let's go with IBS. It'll be a silly way to end the episode, I suppose. So we have 720 gold, which we're going to want to use on equipment and runes, but I will increase at least my HP and my mana, I guess. And then we'll buy a new sword, which is expensive. So we can either buy a rune or a sword. We did just increase our attack power, so maybe we should just buy a rune, which I think will help us get further in the game. So we can either get the double jump or the... actually, can we get both of these? Hey, we can get both. Awesome. So we're going to be a little bit... This is going to make things wait. Oh, wait. No, that said 350. I don't know why I thought that said 175. So we could have gotten one or the other. I actually love the dash in this game. How much was the sword? 200? 50. We can buy a new helmet, though, which will give us more health and mana. So you'll see now we have a gold helmet. All the different... How are we a lady with a beard? Also, when we jump, every now and then... If I can get to work, we fart. And now we have this ability to dash, and you can only use it once per being on the ground, but you can, in theory, like, dash from one thing to another. So there's going to be challenges later where they want you to get through an area without jumping, and that's going to be how you do that. But it would be impossible to do unless you had the dash rune. So runes add a lot of elements to the game. Let's see. Yeah, all we have is entry 1. I wonder why that is. Alright, so we have this... The farting is just silly. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear it, and I apologize if you're bummed if you can't hear the farting. Oh, man. Our attack doesn't actually seem like it's that much higher, but it also might be because we're playing as a mage who focuses more on magic. So the dash adds a lot of mobility to the game, moving much, much faster now. And like I said, it'll be easier to dodge enemies and stuff like that. Also, the Doom bosses, I think I mentioned earlier, they'll be in really odd, unnatural places for paintings to be. They'll also start to wiggle when you get near them. Alright, so this is a soul. Oh my fucking god. I have never fought this guy. Oh, we have blades. We should totally use this. There we go. That was pretty easy. He was guarding some treasure. There's also this big painting up here. Oh my god. Oh god. We're in a lot of trouble. I should have just done that for both of them. I really need to get into the habit of using my magic more, because I do not use it nearly enough. So actually, I was really hoping I'd get to show this, but I might die before I get the chance. Oh god. So we need to defeat all the enemies here. I'm going to try and use my blades as much as possible. We have these visionaries here, which are upgraded versions of the other eyeball enemies. I think we did it, actually. Oh, no! Alright, that sucked. I totally fell for that like a bitch. That actually wasn't that bad because of the two quote-unquote champion enemies we fought, which I guess is kind of like Isaac in that regard. Let's see. How much? I didn't even see how much money we got. We'll do one more since this is the first episode. We'll go ahead. We never get to ride roller coasters. We never did play with a dwarfism character. So let's go ahead and play as... Do I want a barbarian or a knave? Chakram or Scythe. Those are both... yeah, let's roll with Lady Charlotte. Jesus. We got 240 gold. Also, so we got this upgrade. I never actually did use the shield. We did get an upgrade that turns our knight into paladins. There's also upgrades for barbarians to become barbarian kings and archmages. But those are way more expensive because they're not technically as useful. Could we buy a sword? No. I think in the early game, too, we might as well buy that, right? Or wait, well, you know what? Can we upgrade something? Like I said, you can go back to the manor if you decide to upgrade something here instead. Yeah, let's go ahead and just give ourselves more health. Alright, and then we'll go ahead. We could, if we wanted to, we could lock this down. And actually, no, I won't do it. Can we still do that? I think in the early builds of this game, you could actually get past Sharon as the dwarfism character, but I don't think you can do that anymore. Which I guess I understand why they would get rid of it, because it kind of makes the dwarfism a little overpowered in the fact that, you know, you can basically just build up a bunch of gold. But I personally never, I don't know, I don't feel like that's how most people would play it, but what do I know? So our attack actually did get quite an increase here. Alright. I gotta just say, too, I absolutely love the enemy design. Like, I love the graphic design. I really love everything about this game. You won't hear many complaints from me. I guess I should also explain, I mentioned earlier that this game is like Spelunky, which is another, honestly, one of my favorite indie games ever made. Not even favorite indie games, just one of my favorite games. I feel like saying favorite indie game is a little bit pretentious towards indie games. But what I like about this game and what I like about Spelunky is the fact that there isn't just this... It's not like you beat this castle and you go to another level or you go to a world map and select another level. This game, basically, everything you can technically, in theory, beat the entire game your first run of the game. Now, it's very unlikely, incredibly unlikely, in fact, that will happen. But it can, because everything you need to do is always here once you start a castle. Now, oh shit, I didn't realize that. I forgot those spike balls could go through those ledges. This is a pretty tough room. Oh, fuck. I am very close to dying here. But as long as I get that gold, alright, cool. If we could find some chicken, that would be fantastic. We do have full 20 blazed gold, which is actually pretty good for right now. Got mana, which I guess I need. Okay, oh my god, I'm the world's biggest idiot. There was no reason for that risky jump. That was very silly of me. But anyway, all the levels, there's 4 different areas we have to go to, and they're all connected to the castle. And in theory, you could go to all these areas at any time. Well, if you find them, you can go there. It's not like Spelunky necessarily where you have to beat a level then go to it. There's no Tunnel Man shortcuts, I believe. But that's when you would want to do, like, if you're going for, like, that last run of the game, you'd want to have the guy lock down the castle, because at that point it's assumed you've gotten to teleportation spots and all that. But also, I believe once you beat all the bosses, all you have to do is open that last door for the final level. There's also a secret level, which I won't get into right now. But I'm going to end this episode for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy this series as it continues. Rogue Legacy is a very great game. I totally recommend you check it out for yourself. It is $15 on Steam, and there will be a link in the description below to get to the game. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Perma Death, and I will see you guys